Hey, good evening, guys. This KB5 MIQ Big Boy. Let me find my glasses right quick. There they are. We're going to talk about a subject tonight that I may step on some toes. Come here, ham radio cat. Come here. You're walking around here. Let everybody see you. Say hello to everybody. You're going to fuss now. Guys, I was over talking to Kent the other day. We got to talk about this subject. And I want to talk to you guys about things to look for picking out a new HF rig. Um, Let me clarify a couple of things before I get started. Only sponsorships I've got are Broken Circuit Ranch, Circle 6 Mail Drop. MTC and I don't have a formal sponsorship. I like the store, and that's the way I promote it. I don't have any other sponsorships. I'm not running any other YouTubers or social media posts down on particular radio we're going to talk about tonight. I'll give you my take on it, and you're probably thinking, well, big boy, you don't own one of them. Why can you give us a take on it? Well, I'm just going to give you some things to think about if you're considering this type of radio. And the hype right now is this FTX1 QRP rig that Yaesu's got out. And I love Yaesu radios. There's 5 of them on my bench right now. I love Yaesu radios. But it's like the 718, the 705. I've never seen the allure of those radios. I don't do POTA, so maybe that's why I shouldn't say anything about it. But my channel has always been about helping guys get into this hobby and helping guys on a budget, because I've always run my shack on a budget. So what you're getting here, in my opinion, on this radio, you really need to look at the spec sheets and compare specifications. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Back in the 90s, when I first got involved with HF radio at Barksdale, we had a Harris Pacer Bounce HF rig. And it was sort of like one of them employees at work that you see from a distance. It looks like he's just working his butt off. When you get up there around him, you realize he's an idiot. He ain't doing nothing. Kind of the way that radio was. 50 foot away, it looked really cool. You get up there running it, it was a piece of crap. Well, I come home on the middle weekend and I got thinking, I got to figure why this radio is so expensive. There's got to be something special about it. So I took the spec sheet for our first HF rig back with me, the ICOM 701. That brand new in 79 was about a $1,600 radio in 79 money that come with a power supply and a desk mount. I carry it back and I lay the 2 spec sheets side by side and I go line by line down them. They matched, with the exception that radio had general coverage, transmit and receive, because it was military radio, and it was capable of having crypto devices hooked to it. Other than that, it was identical mode, every spec. It was sideband CW ready, just like my 701 that I give $300 for. And I pulled the price ticket up on that radio was 25 grand. Okay. So that's why I'm saying that. We're going to we'll do a little comparison here. I went to Yaesu's website and I printed off 3 different spec sheets for the 991A, the FTX1, and the 891. All right. What do I got here? I got another one for 7300, but we're just going to pair Yaesu to Yaesu. All 3 radios, the sensitivity, exactly the same. Minus 6 dB, minus 60 dB. Exactly the same. Selectivity. Sensitivity. Less than a half of a microvolt difference in all 3 radios. Okay. Less than half a microvolt. All right. I can't see what you're getting for that other radio at the price they're asking for it. So let's talk about that. I got these off DX Engineering because MTC didn't have the complete thing in stock. If you bought the Yaesu FTX1 series with the 100-watt output, everything on it, $1,899.95 at DX Engineering. All right. That's it. That's the highest price one. All right. Shack in the box, HF 6 meters, 144, 430 megahertz. By the same token, if you bought a 991A, Shack in the box, HF, VHF, UHF, then I've already talked to y'all about the specs being very, very similar, $1,299. All right. I've never understood the allure of those QRP radios. And I'm sure all the receives so much better, the audio so much better. I mean, the spec sheets to me don't add up that it can be that much better for that much more money. Now, like I said before, if you've got tons of money and you want to buy the latest, the greatest, get it. And it's got some cool features on it. I think it does APRS, which they had to do a firmware update from what I've been able to read up on it to even get that fixed on. All right. Guys, I ain't not telling you not to buy it. I'm just telling you to do your research. Couple things to remember though, and Jeff brought this up, Kent brought this up the other night. We was talking about this same subject. Whatever brand radios you like, it's probably to your advantage to stick with it because all these radios now are menu-based radios. Why I like Yaesu, I like the menu system. And if you get used to the menus in one Yaesu radio, it's probably going to be very similar to the other radios. Like I said, that FT4X Talkie is the only one I've ever had I can program from memory. So that's a good valid point to stay with one type brand of radio. But you'll see everybody out there telling you this is so much better, and this is that, this is this and that. Do your own research. I don't care what YouTubers say. I don't care what social media says. Do your own research. Now, I will say this, Yaesu doesn't do sponsorship, so none of these guys are getting sponsored by Yaesu talking about it. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it because I don't own one. The newest HF rig in my shack's almost 20 years old, but it's a Yaesu and it's a Shack in the box. Shack in the box radios, I don't know that I'd ever buy another one. That's the most unused radio I've got as far as the VHF, UHF side of it. I can't tell you the last time I used it, but they're good radios. I like them for HF. Here's another thing. Back in the day when I was a kid, I started my first job at 17 years old, was working as a clerk in sporting goods for the first Walmart in Texas, in Clarksville, Texas. And I ended up working there about 7 years and worked my way up to sporting goods manager. And they had a program at the time where they was trying to keep sporting goods managers. And I got to meet a lot of people in the industry and salesmen and manufacturer reps and all that. And a guy was in there talking to me one day, wanting me to pick up a line of fishing lures that were packaged real nice. And I was a big fisherman at the time. I said, man, them things don't catch nothing. He said, you're missing the point. They don't have to catch anything. All they have to do is convince the guy that's going to buy it, it'll catch fish. Same way with these radios, same way with the hype around them. Yaesu is a good company and I like them, but everybody gonna tell you that's the radio to get, or it sounds better than this other radio, or whatever. Do your research. Do some reading on your own. Go to the websites. ICOM, Kenwood, Yaesu, all got websites. You can look up specs on any of their radios there and print them off, lay them side by side, and compare for yourself. Another thing with how people rave about these receivers is who is using the radio. Is it a guy that's got really good hearing, or is it a musician that's used to picking up different frequencies of noise? Or some old half deaf guy like me that couldn't tell the difference from one to the other if you held a gun to his head. Tim's a musician. He can understand the difference in what these radios sound like. He's got a 991A and a 7300, and he swears the 7300 sounds better to him. And that's good. That's another thing to think about when you're buying stuff like this. Who is going to be the one using it? POTA and SOTA is a big deal now, especially POTA. And these guys want to go out to the park and not have to carry a big heavy battery, and maybe these radios are lighter to carry. I can see it being an asset for SOTA where you're actually having to climb a mountain, but if you're driving your car out next to a picnic table and unloading your stuff on a picnic table in a park, I can't see why you couldn't just take an 891 and a LiPo battery and have just as much fun, and you can turn it down to 5 watts if you want to, or 10 watts. All I'm saying is research what you're buying, because if you shell out a bunch of money for a rig, you ain't through spending money. Feed line, antenna, coax, all that comes into play. And a lot of these tuners, onboard tuners in these radios, you need to research them, because some of them won't tune an antenna that's really bad out. So that's something else to think about. And Kent brought this up on your digital signal processing. It's pretty much the same technology in all three major brands of radios, but it will sound different in different brands of radios, and it will sound different to different people. It's just something else to think about. Guys, I urge you to do your own research. Go to the manufacturer websites, look at the spec sheets, look at it yourself, and make your mind up. Again, I'm not knocking any promotions you've seen about this radio. I'm not knocking the radio itself. I'm not knocking any YouTubers' versions of it. But my thing with this channel has always been about being on a budget and getting new guys in the hobby. And when you shell out $1,900 for a radio and you haven't bought power supply, coax, antennas, you could get yourself in a bind. Just something to think about. Well, guys, remember Broken Circuit Ranch, Circle 6 mail drop, both their links will be in the description of the video. MRG Labs, Dan Majors, radio and amp repair information is at the front of the video. We hit 1922. We're getting closer and closer to that 2000. We'll do some kind of giveaway. Remember, main trading company in Paris. Sign up for Richard's email. That way you'll be abreast of all the coupon codes and sales he's got. I appreciate all y'all like to listen to me and Old Ham Radio Cat. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.